It's the Scars and Spikes pre-match show. Sydney, Tyler, and Tommy with you as Atlanta United gets set to take on the Seattle Sounders at Lumen Field at 10:39 kickoff time from the Pacific Northwest. Gentlemen, how's it going?
We're back, baby.
Back.
Are we?
We are back.
I hope we are. We're gonna find out.
We're back, just playing. I don't know if we're gonna win.
We have to win.
But we're back.
Soccer's back. Let's just leave it at that.
Back.
Yes.
Because that debacle last night in Nashville was not soccer. That was a cluster, is what that was.
Speaking
of
debacle, Houston was up 4-0 on Portland at the break.
Yeah,
Wow.
3-0 in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
It could have been 5-0.
Yeah.
Bossy missed a wide open net on a header. But, gosh, Portland is just getting clobbered at
Montreal
Shell
beating Toronto
Stadium.
3-1.
I mean, Tyler, it's Toronto.
I know, but
Are you
it's also
surprised?
Montreal.
Yeah. Well,
Those Canadians.
Montreal's better. Two Spikes podcast. Hello. Thanks for
What's
watching.
up, buddy?
What's up?
Yes, if you are watching, please leave a comment and let us know that you are tuning in. We are waiting on lineups to drop any second now. Granted, it is a 10:39 kickoff, so it could be a little bit. Also taking a look for the Sounders lineups as well whenever those come out. Before we do get started, there's just some sad news coming out from the Sounders camp. Stephen Cleveland, backup keeper for Seattle, lost his father. I don't know if it was today or it was within the past few days, so he's not with the team. So our thoughts, prayers, well wishes out to the Sounders community during this time. Tough loss, and just wish Stephen all the best. So he will not be in the team. That being said, Stephen Fry is sure to get the start, I believe, for Seattle. And again, we are looking for their lineups. I do want to add to that Seattle will be wearing some armbands or in memory of Stephen Cleveland's father.
Yeah.
So.
That's nice.
Yeah. Let's see who else. Tim, what's up? Daniel Smith, first time watching live. Love y'all's show. Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks for hopping in, Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely. Colonel saying hell is real, showing that crew is real. Yeah, Columbus up 2-0 on Cincinnati in stoppage time. And Ryan saying hopefully they can bring a win home. So, yes, we agree. Hopefully they can bring a win home. Again, waiting on lineups from both teams. But, yeah, first things first, guys. How are you feeling right now, at least?
I just woke up from a nap. I feel great. I power napped for about an hour and a half, getting ready for this. Jumped in the shower, made it hot as it could be. You're supposed to take a cold shower, but I don't react well to cold.
No.
So took the hottest shower possible, slapped myself in the face. I'm ready.
Are you one of those people like when you're driving late or early in the morning and it's like you're about to pass out and like run off the road? Are you one of those people like leans out the window and starts like slapping yourself and screaming?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
You're not one of those people who fall asleep while you're driving, are you?
No, I've never done that.
I've come close to it though.
I did fall asleep on the side of the road though. I pulled over and slept for like 25 minutes, and a cop came and like next to me, and then he started like thinking that I was drunk, and I was like, no, I'm just exhausted and
sleepy, man. I'm tired.
I mean, he had me get out of the car. I was asking for it just because like I could see the situation and understand where he was thinking, like that I had been drinking. I was like, look, I promise you, I am stone cold sober. I just needed a nap.
Yeah.
You got me out of the car. I'm gonna do some jumping jacks. I'm gonna be right in about 5 minutes.
Right. But yeah, match wise, how you guys feeling? Tommy's awake. Tyler, how are you feeling?
I'm great. We had Leagues Cup last night, and that was it was a fun match. Messi won.
Mm-hmm.
It was a crazy shootout. The Women's World Cup final was like the first thing this morning. Spain pulled out the win on that one. So
Congrats
that
to
was cool to
Spain.
see. Yeah, congrats to Spain. And here we are. Here we are, 10:39 Eastern, 7:39 Western when this one kicks off, and it's gonna be crazy. And you know, I'm cautiously optimistic, and I feel like I throw that around a lot. But like you've got Jean da Silva, who may or may not get some amount of time. I think he will. I think he'll get some at least 30 minutes. But you got Muyumba, and I would fully expect Muyumba to start. And if Muyumba comes out there and does what he did in the midfield that he did against Cruz Azul, I think you're already looking better as a team. And Seattle's not looked convincing this year. They've done enough to get what they have. Like and that's the mark of a good team, right? A good team is going to get the points when it's probably stacked against them. So, and that's Seattle. That's what you know Seattle as, the team that's just perennially a good team that's going to fight for whatever they have, right? Atlanta can beat them. Will they beat them? I don't know. I am still worried about the defense. I mean, you got to hope Yakimakis and Amada get on the score sheet tonight. You want to get an away win. An away win in Seattle would be huge. It's not going to be easy, but it's possible. So I'm cautiously optimistic. We shall see.
Yeah,
Vegas has us as a heavy underdog. I
why?
was just looking it up, and it's no good, no good.
What are the odds at?
I think it's plus 310 right now for them to win. They're looking. I mean, everything's pointing towards a Seattle win there. But MLS, it's crazy. I want to see the roster. I want to see the lineups first before I even touch this game.
Well, lineups are not out yet. I can't report that Minnesota has just gone up.
Sydney, how are you
2-0
feeling?
on.
Because you haven't brought us yours yet. What are you thinking?
Well, before I mention that, I will say Minnesota just went up 2-0 on NYCFC, so it's just over at
Columbus
Yankee Stadium.
3-0 over Cincinnati. So
Columbus
is
3-0.
was real.
Big win for
That's-
Columbus, by the way.
Yep.
Big win.
That's
mean,
big though. New York losing is good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. It definitely is. And we'll probably check the standings here in a second. But yeah, like like you're saying, Tyler, I'm cautiously optimistic. You know, this could go. Okay, what is this?
I would just keep talking. Just keep talking.
Okay, I'll keep talking, even though Yoshi's staring at me. Yeah, cautiously optimistic. Seattle haven't been in the best form. That being said, you know, this is Seattle. They always kind of, I mean, except last year, they always seem to kind of find a way to get themselves back in the picture more often than not. Like we said last year, they didn't make the playoffs, but part of that was CCL kind of fatigued them and made them more tired than usual. But yeah, again, this is a big match because looking at the standings, you know, Atlanta are in 7th, 35 points, and you know, you run the risk if you don't get results, you run the risk of playing yourselves out of the playoff picture if you're not careful. So, that being said, though, they can put together, if they put together a few wins in a row, they're in the top 4. So it's just funny how that works. We talk about kind of the form that they've been in throughout the season, but they're not playing to the best of their ability. But at the same time, there's still a small enough gap so they can jump into the top 4. So yeah, cautiously optimistic and hoping for the best, but kind of preparing for the worst. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
This is
Tommy, what's up?
Pineda's. This is big for Pineda. Like this 10-game marathon is you know, possibly his coaching career here as a head coach. So he's got to come up with something. Unfortunately, the visas have not helped bring any players in any sooner. I mean, he gets one in. Let's see what he can do here. You're at least gonna get one more in, right? Saba's supposed to come in, maybe tomorrow, Tuesday. So he'll get a full week, close to a full week of training, which is good. So yeah, they should be on the right track for next week. But today's a big one too. It looks like the lineup's just posted.
Yes. So
Here we go.
let's talk about the lineups. I'm way ahead of you, my friend.
Look at that, man.
So Shandy Silva
boy.
is starting.
Wow.
Edwin Mosquera is starting. I did not expect that.
What?
Edwin Mosquera is starting. And that's probably just until Saba gets in. So maybe not too surprised about that. But again, Etienne, what does that say about Etienne? Not in the starting 11, but Edwin Mosquera is. So interesting. Yamba Husetu in the midfield. So let's hope Yamba carries Silverway's gave against Cruz as well, as we talked about. And then no surprises in the back line and in that.
There's a lot to unpack in this lineup. Like, for real. All right, so
by the way, our chat is pretty lively. I will say this.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's quite lively.
We appreciate, by the way.
It should get livelier after looking at this thing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so this is what I wanted to start with. Dan throwing up Abram over Parada is a little surprising.
So that's one. Maybe that's one surprise.
Yeah,
one interesting eyebrow raising thing. Considering what
back four, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of want to go back really quick to like what we had Michael Parkhurst on the other 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about the back four versus the back three, everything else, and Pineda, his choice lineup is a back four. That's what he wants to play. That's what he wants to do. Miles Robinson he's back for the first time since the beginning of June in MLS play. So he could be the wild card really defensively. And some people have said like, oh, he hasn't been that great defensively, whatever. I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is Miles Robinson can't do it all by himself. He hasn't really been paired up with Luis Abram much. And in a back four, this is really like new territory for both of them. You have Lennon and Caleb Wiley back doing their thing as, defensive minded back four left and right backs, right? This, I think, because that is their default position and you have so much firepower up front, I think it actually helps you defensively to shore things up a little bit and make it a little bit easier to settle in and absorb a little bit of pressure. This team's not great at absorbing pressure, but you have guys up front that can score goals. You also have guys up front that Seattle doesn't really have any scouting on at all. So you've got, Sean Da Silva, who he had 2 assists in the off Leagues Cup time match against St. Louis. He's kind of been one of those guys that he got here early. He got here quick out of the 4 that were brought in during the summer transfer window. And he could be a game changer. Of course, we saw what Miyamba did against Cruz Azul. If he can kind of lock it down like he did in that match, then you've got a chance here. I really think as long as they come into it with the right mindset, you legitimately have a chance.
You have to throw in a qualifier though, and it's definitely great that Shandy Silva had those 2 assists against St. Louis in that friendly. You have to throw in the qualifier though that it was a friendly, and just to listen at the legs a little bit. Both teams hadn't played for a good period of time, so there's that qualifier
here, Sydney.
Yeah,
I know.
I get it. Sorry, no, but no. In all seriousness, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Nobody's seen what he's done in an MLS match, and I think that adds to a little bit of the mystique and mystery around Shandy Silva. Pineda has talked a lot about wing play, making sure that the wing play was sound and secure, and he's not gotten it. So hopefully Shandy and Saba, whenever he comes in, and we'll hope against Nashville on Saturday, can provide that missing link that Atlanta United have been looking for on the wings. But I keep going back to Etienne, man. Etienne, I'm a little concerned about because now he can't get on the field. Um, well, he can, but now he's being passed over and starting. You would think
Yeah.
that he was ahead. You think that he was ahead of Muscara kind of on the depth chart, but now it's somewhat clear that he's not. And it goes back to okay, the amount of money that Atlanta United paid to bring him in on a multi-year contract, multi-year temp contract, and now he's essentially, for all intents and purposes, and I mean overstating it, maybe the third string winger or something like that, second string winger at best, says a lot. Yeah, I'm not going to speculate about off-season moves, things like that, but yeah, it says a lot that Derek Etienne can't see the field after a long layoff, presumably fit, making the amount of money that he makes. So,
The
just
buyout's
saying.
possible. The buyout's possible, which would be crazy because I mean that's you paid a lot of money for him, and wow, yeah, this is Mosquera coming in. I mean, maybe they're hoping his speed's going to be something that is going to help them specifically in this game, and maybe that's why he's there. It's interesting. It's very interesting, and the other part here is Josetu over Sadich. Felt like Josetu was in the doghouse there for quite some time, and I think a lot of us prefer Sadich over him. So this is a big game for him as well because
It
I think
also
that's
means
Yeah, I'll say this real quick. Sorry, Tyler. Maybe Pineda feels this match is better suited for Hisetu than it is for Sadic. So, can Hisetu rise to the occasion? I mean, he hasn't been able to on a consistent basis, and he's been talked a lot about on this show and among the fan base. He's kind of been the boogeyman for this club. So, yeah, hopefully these next 10 matches in the regular season, these final 10 matches in the regular season, he can catch fire and capture some strong form because he hasn't, obviously, thus far. So I thought.
so no, you're good. I really think, for those of y'all, obviously, I think everybody here is going to be watching the match here in a little under an hour. Keep an eye on that pairing of Josetu and Muyumba because Muyumba is absolutely an 8 that can play as a 6 and not so much a 6 that can play as an 8. He's both. He can do both. I'm curious to see how Pineda uses him because Josetu is if we're going by the common theme that Pineda's had over the past couple of years, Josetu is going to be the 8. That being said, there is nothing wrong if they were able to train it properly with having that double pivot, that Muyumba dropping into the spaces when he's available, Josetu dropping into spaces when he's available, Josetu doing the defensive dirty work when he needs to. And it's going to be very dependent on whether or not he's going to be able to pick up the slack if Muyumba pushes forward and vice versa. So it'll be really curious to see that pairing, see how they work. I think Muyumba makes this midfield stronger, no matter how you look at it. I'm okay with it. I would be curious to see a little more time with him and Sadic, but we talked about it before with Josetu and Franco Ibarra. They went on a stretch in the beginning of the season where they looked phenomenal together. You get the right pairing in midfield, and it can make a player that wasn't playing the best look much better and play much better. So you got to think, you got to go back to the past 3 weeks. What has Pineda seen in training? Because that's all you can really rely on at this point. We don't have, this is essentially like starting, almost like starting another season. So
Yeah.
tonight will be very telling. And I'm excited about Muyumba. I hope him and Josetu work well. But the Mosquera thing is like out of left field for me. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with it. I mean, y'all know my feelings about Edwin Mosquera. I put a bet with Doug Robertson last year about him. So, I think he absolutely can provide something to this team as he grows. I will be the first to admit he is 100% a work in progress. but you're putting him in the starting lineup against one of the perennial best teams in MLS. And that's saying something for Pineda's confidence in the kid. So it also throws a wrench in anything anybody had ever planned or thought about when it comes to the offseason in terms of the U22 spots. Do you really think they're looking at getting rid of him over the other U22s that are on the roster right now if he's getting this kind of time over the guy that they're paying $650,000? It's definitely very interesting to think about. I mean, Etienne just hasn't done it this year, unfortunately. I wish he had. I was cheering for the guy. I want him to succeed so bad, but at this point, he's had all year. And I saw Tim in the chat earlier asking, did he have a knock in the offseason? If you're talking about the actual offseason and not the Leagues Cup, yeah, he did. He was coming off of it with Columbus last year. But as far as we know, he's been healthy over the past couple of months, including this Leagues Cup break. So he should be fine. I'm sure you'll probably see him subbed on at some point, but for him to not get the start over Mosquera, that's kind of telling, because it's not just this match. It's the past 2 or 3 matches that he's kind of been snubbed out of the starting lineup. So it's really, really interesting starting 11 tonight. Not really what I was expecting. I'm okay with it, but not what I was expecting.
Before we continue on, by the way, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know anytime we come out with content here on YouTube. Our live show on Wednesday nights, ratings, player ratings videos, and all of that. That being said, we are hosting a live watch along party for our Patreon backers, and I see a few of our patrons are in the chat, are watching tonight. Thank you for those that are supporting us. Appreciate it. That being said, I just dropped it in the chat a link to become a Patreon backer. We have 3 tiers: $1.17 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month. If you like what we're doing, if you want to support us, please go to patreon.com/scarves and spikes. Again, the link's there in the chat. Not only will you get a link to our exclusive, I say exclusive like it's to add importance to it, but not only we have access to our watch party in about a half hour or so, but you'll get bonus content that only patrons will get access to, invite to our Discord server, and all that fun stuff. Again, you can support us $1.17 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month. Again, the link is in the chat, patreon.com/scarves and spikes. So go ahead and click that, and yeah, we'd love to have you on board. Portland's
These watch-alongs are fun.
Portland.
The
Yeah, they are.
They're a good time.
For the most
we
part.
enjoy it. They're fun. I mean, yeah, unless you have a little too much inebriation and end up forgetting who you are by the end of the night, and yeah, that's terrible. But no, it's a good time. Y'all come join us. It's fun. That's not the only thing you get as a patron. Obviously, we got a website up now, scarvesandspikes.com, a shop. You get discounts. We're getting ready to work on some stuff as far as getting some other merch we want you guys input on as far as like the designs. There's lots of stuff going on with it. So definitely come check it out for sure. We'll have a good time tonight.
Yep. Seattle's lineup is out. Seattle's lineup is out, has been for the last few minutes. We'll get to this comment here very shortly, but sorry, I just want to show up Seattle's lineup. Rudy Diaz up top, Leo Chu, Jordan Murphy on the wings, Nico Lodero in the midfield, Alvarez Rusnak, João Paulo midfield behind the line, Nuhu, Alex Roldan, outside backs, Reagan Yamar, center back, and of course Stephen Fry as the keeper. But yeah, let's go back to that.
Real quick, I just had to throw that. It's the Windows blue screen of death.
A little bit, yeah.
Text, and everything.
You mentioned that.
It's kind of neat, actually.
Funny enough, I'm on a Mac, so so don't be alarmed.
Do you know what the weather's like there? Are they getting rain over there?
They're getting smoked.
It wouldn't be
from
surprising.
the wildfires in Canada.
Oh yeah.
Yep, they're getting hammered by that. Actually, and I saw earlier, I think it was Mike Conti that had posted It was really smoky there up until about a half an hour ago, and then the wind switched. I think coming in from Puget Sound or something, coming off the ocean, kind of cleared it up a little bit. But don't be surprised tonight if you start seeing a little bit of a haze over the field because they have a lot of smoke going on up there right now.
It's wildfire smoke, not other smoke.
Yes, not other smoke of course.
Yeah.
Darn.
Let's go.
It's not
Yeah. Let's talk about this real quick, and it's kind of related to what we were talking about earlier, but I think it's the Chag. The Chag, I think it's pronounced.
Chag. I'm gonna go with
Correct.
I like that.
Yeah, correct me in the chat if I got it wrong. Can Ibarra come back now since there's an open spot? So, I mean, he could.
It
Not
depends on
now,
when you're
technically.
at.
I mean, not not
now.
today
Yeah,
or
Yeah, not
next
now.
week but next season.
I hate to break it to you, but I like the way that they handled the Ibarra situation was crap. Y'all know this. I've talked about it a million times on here. I just don't think Franco Ibarra is in the plans going forward. I could be wrong, but could he come back? Absolutely. Will he come back? Probably not. I also don't think you're going to see Santiago Sosa come back either, because either you have to switch him off a U22 designation and then pay him, but for what? Or you just transfer him out. He still has value. So make the move. Franco Ibarra. I mean, I like the kid. I really do. I hate the way that they treated him. But depending on what they want to do with their DP spots and everything else, I mean, I just don't see him coming back. Edwin Mosquera, like Rob was saying in the chat, happy Mosquera Day to all those who celebrate. It's wild. Again, we talked about it a minute ago, but I was not ever expecting this against
No.
Seattle. I'm cool with it. I think Mosquera, again, rough around the edges. I think he can do something, but I mean, at this point, he's the only one that I for sure think is going to be back as a U22 next season.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like we never like
Would've
if
thunk
you,
it.
if you told us at the beginning of the season, we'd say yeah, you're nuts. And
Yeah.
You're crazy. Who'd have thought, though? I mean,
Yeah. What a wild
didn't
ride
Carlos
he's been on.
say? Didn't Carlos say the moves would make sense after a while?
I mean, I'm still waiting on it all to fall into place, but I'm excited about.
Yeah,
the
they
four
don't
that-
all make sense yet, but
about February, it'll make
Yes.
sense. February 25th ish.
Yeah, 20
Probably makes
24th
sense.
at midnight, right before you
Yeah,
have
pretty
to be
much.
in compliance.
roster compliance day. It will all make sense. I did pronounce this name right, or her, or them.
So Chag,
Yes, the Chag.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
perfect. That's good to know.
You got Almada with the new number today.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
haven't talked about it.
That's
number 10.
so.
Rob,
Is
so
this a
I'm gonna say
conspiracy
this-
theory?
Well, so before you get into that, I see where you're going. But Rob Usry,
I like
and
it.
shout out to Rob. Thanks for watching. He was tweeting it out a few days ago. It's like, no, why isn't anyone wearing the number 10? Maybe they're saving it for someone special. And kind of find out, Thiago Almada gets the number 10 kit. I see where you're going, Tommy. Why would they give him number 10 if he was going to be here, or if he wasn't going to be here next year? Which kind of runs counter to what we're talking about, and we may talk about this more on Wednesday. It kind of runs counter to what everyone's thinking. Like, Thiago Almada's gone after this season, but then Garth Lagerwey saying, "Hey, we want to build around Thiago Almada," and Garth's not dumb. Like, if he gets an offer from overseas that the club can't resist, yeah, they're gonna take it. But I mean, maybe it's a little message to Thiago saying, stick around for a little bit, become the face of our club, help us get back to where we need to be.
Play with Messi.
Yeah, play with
I
Messi. And hey, who knows? Maybe after a half year or a year or so, he gets a massive offer to move overseas, and it happens. But Tommy, I kind of see what you're saying. I don't know if they give him the number 10 if he's going to be leaving in the winter. I mean, I don't know for sure. Anything can happen. But I mean, kind of joke about it, but I mean, it's
So
who
I'll throw
knows?
this out there. I mean, we've all been talking about, and it's not like just us, like but all of Atlanta United media, fans in general, like everybody has assumed either the summer or the winter time he is on his way out, Almada, because it makes sense. The kid's good enough to go overseas 100%. Like that, there's no denying that. And if you are denying that, then you don't know ball. I don't know what your problem is. The kid knows what he's doing. He knows how to play. He is good enough to go overseas, and not just to any team, but to a quality, like at a Champions League level team. Now, am I saying he's going to start as the number 10 in the Champions League team immediately? Probably not necessarily, but you never know. That being said, he has been all season asked in the locker room, at the training ground, are there any offers coming your way? What's going on? And of course, typical like politics, right? Like diplomacy, your agent's going to tell you, oh no, I'm just focused on Atlanta. And I get that. Tomorrow we could come out with a rumor that he's on his way to, I don't know, Newcastle or whatever for a record transfer fee. That's how it is. Yes, the check saying, please, Chelsea, overpay for Almada. Please give us $100 million for Almada. We'll take that. It could happen, and Atlanta United is not going to turn that down. That being said, all season from the beginning, Garth Lagerwey has been saying that they want to build this club around Thiago Almada. And then you look at the moves that happened in the summertime, and he came out again, and Bocanegra came out and said they are setting things up to help keep Almada here. I mean, I think everybody's maybe got a little bit of a blinder on in terms of thinking like, well, he's so good, he's got to go. But if they can pay him enough, and if there is some other thing that maybe hasn't been made official yet, we don't know about, the rumors have kind of popped up about MLS roster rules changing that could allow Atlanta to really do what they want to do, pay him the money, and then still add on DP spots or whatever, the plan is, then yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be totally out of the realm of possibility to keep Almada for at least until the end of his contract, if not a little longer. If you've been able to sell him on what you have in Atlanta, which is Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the ability to bring in high-quality players. Now, we can argue that hasn't been great the past couple of years, whatever, but there's still things that draw players here. And he's here, and he's the face of the club right now. So you have some selling points. Now it's a matter of, as long as no other big club comes and drops a freaking money bag at his feet, then why not stay?
Man United.
Yeah, whatever.
Ooh.
Well,
After
the
watching
teams.
Saturday, any player could be better on Man United. Oh, man.
Rest in peace.
Please, Atlanta United win.
rest in
I got up
peace.
early yesterday,
No one died.
went out to watch that game, and that was a failure. Now I'm staying up late tonight. No, I need something. Something
Yes. A reminder too, and before that, what are you doing, Tyler? You just kick back.
I mean, I'm chilling, man. Look, we
It's
got a
just
long night
just
ahead of
chilling.
us. I don't know what y'all are doing.
You're taking a nap, trying to take a nap. But no, again, and just real quick, Patreon.com/Scarts and Spikes if you want to invite to our watch party, watch along. That's happening about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
good. Yeah, we do it once a month. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
At least one.
Yeah, sometimes we do it more.
Yeah.
You can hop on. You don't even have to turn your camera on if you don't want.
Yeah.
A lot of people do. We just hang out, talk about the game, scream, yell. Have we got a win yet? I don't remember.
We did.
What?
Have we
the
gotten a
first
win
three
on a
was
Zoom
wrong.
on one of our Zooms?
Yeah. I just can't remember which game it was.
It had to be like one of the more recent ones if we
It
did.
was. I have to go back and look
Yeah.
now.
And they've always been crazy games.
I think
too.
it was
Like
the last win that Atlanta United had, actually.
we were on during the
Yeah.
Aruju game where he ends up getting kicked out, and
Yep.
that was Chicago game, right?
Yeah.
That was the Chicago
Chicago,
game.
yeah.
That was a silly one. The New York game.
Toronto
We
was
got
one of the
red.
first ones. That was a
Yeah.
rough night for me.
The Miami game.
First Miami game,
Yeah.
yeah. Lineups. Not lineups. Lineups. Predictions. We gave ours um, Wednesday. I forget what I said. I think I said like 2-2 or 1-1. I
Yeah, I
said a
think you
draw,
said.
right?
Yeah, I think two. I said 1-1. You said 2-2. I don't remember what Tyler
I
said.
said 2-1.
Okay.
2-1 Atlanta or
2-1 for
Seattle.
me. Yep, Atlanta. And
Atlanta.
I said it was on my day, not
Um,
mine.
Good bet. Good bet. Let us know in the chat um, your predictions. Let us know what you think. There are quite a few of you in here, so we want to hear what you think. We had someone in here who was flaming in MLS and just
Yeah, it
flaming
was
religion
weird.
about it.
We've
And
been getting those randomly
they're
though. Like, have
gone.
you noticed that? That they come like ever since Messi's come in, they just start like yelling at the sky about MLS. Like it's always gonna be a retirement league. I mean,
Whatever.
why'd you take Messi from us?
Thanks for helping out
That's
our
probably what they
algorithm,
feel.
whoever you are. All right,
Yeah,
Ariel,
predictions
3-1
for all
Atlanta.
in. Yeah, check 2-0 Atlanta. Derek saying draw. Daniel saying 1-1 draw. Um, Josh, 3-1 Atlanta, or should I went to bed? Or I should have went to bed. Um, T-Peg taking a more taking a different outlook. Scores irrelevant. We'll hear about Messi half the game. Rob, or I'll get to two spikes first. Two spikes saying 2-1 Atlanta. Rob saying 2-0 Seattle. I mean, come on, Rob. Good grief.
I mean,
Ryan Kelly saying
look, that's
3-1
what
Atlanta. I
Jeremiah
hope.
said the other day. Jeremiah was like,
Oh yeah.
it could be a win, it could be a loss. I have no idea, and that's how I feel. It's such a cluster. You never know what version of this team you're going to get, and right now Seattle
I
doesn't know what
know.
version of the team they're going to get.
Yeah.
Who
Ariel's
knows?
saying 4-3. I don't know if it's 4-3.
Wow, if it's 4-3, that's a crazy MLS after dark.
It's
I'm
not
going
going
to
to be
drunk by the end
15
of that game.
0.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
We forgot the profanity filter there. Our guy Tony Leone checking in for the night. What's up, Tony? 3-1.
He's
I
got a
don't know
great
who.
beard. He's got a great beard, Tony.
I know.
I mean, we all
He
have.
does, he
You guys
does.
have better beards than me.
He works on it a lot.
Yeah. Tony's getting 3-1 for either team. He doesn't know.
Again,
Hopefully
valid point.
Atlanta.
Don't know who's going to have the 3 or 1 at this point. It could be an absolute cluster.
I just hope everybody has fun.
That's not allowed.
No.
So it has to win. Or, well, no. No one has to win. It could be a draw. Who knows?
No. No, I will not accept a draw tonight. I don't want to draw. Drew saying 2-2 Atlanta. A draw.
I'd rather 3 points. Houston just scored against 5-0.
See, that's what we need.
I think Houston hasn't been in Portland. I think they said since 2018, or hasn't been at home since 2016 or something like that. So that match is
I want a
over.
touchdown
Houston.
tonight. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
For Atlanta.
If it's 7-0 Seattle, oh man, we're gonna take that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make sure that that's a clip. We'll make you go viral. I hope there was a touchdown this game.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, that's
It'll be Brooks Lennon with the
unexpected
1
scoreline.
to keep me alive on the internet.
Shout out to Ben Olsen, by the way. He has Houston in 6. If the result holds, which it will. But it's Houston in 6. Houston looking like a playoff team, unless they collapse. They'll be only 2 points out of a playoff, or 2 points above the playoff line with this win. In the West, is like there's nothing separating a lot of these teams. Minnesota's ninth with 31 points. RSL has 37 points. They're in third, or LAC is in second with 37 points as well. So 6 points separate second and ninth, which is insane. So
I just want to see no mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Like they said that's what they've been working on is like defensively, cleaning things up. I just want to see that. If it is a draw, but that they look clean, they're not just making these silly mistakes, silly giveaways, terrible passing out of the back. then I'm okay. Like I want to see improvement. You've had an entire month off. I mean, so does Seattle, basically. But I mean, they need to look dangerous, and they need to be able to, not just keep giving the ball up so damn quick. And they just
I know.
they were doing it so much at the end there, and I was like going back and watching some highlights from the videos like over the last couple weeks because we've had no soccer watch, and it's just like, oh man, the goals we've allowed have just been bad,
Yeah,
real bad.
at the end of the day, like we're always going to look and go to that stat about away matches in MLS. And I understand it is tough. I get that. Especially, I mean, if you're going to pick one that's tough, it was LAFC earlier this season, which you somehow drew. Thank you, Brad Guzan, for that one. And then this one. This is tough. So you're literally across the country, on the other side of the country, about as far as you could be. And your away record right now is 2-5-5. You come out of this with a draw and you look okay. That's not the worst thing in the world. That's actually a win. That's okay. You got to break the losing streak though. At the end of the day, that's what you have to have. You have to stop the losing streak because you're on a skid. If you look at all competitions, it's not good. So break that. But you think about all the storylines in this one. You got Ozzy Alonso going back for the first time. You got Pineda going back for the first time. There's so much here. And if you go back to what Jeremiah said on our Patreon episode the other day, like the way Seattle fans look at Atlanta or at Pineda compared to the way Atlanta fans look at Pineda, they still think of him as like the Lord and Savior of the way that their tactics were handled. And like Brian Schmetzer is a great coach and all, but they gave the credit to Pineda for getting that team as far as they did over the seasons when they were very dominant. And he said that they were kind of coming back to earth after Pineda left, and it's kind of all falling back into place now. And they look at him totally different than Atlanta fans do. So there's a little bit of an intangible there for at least your coach and one of your players who probably will see time at some point in this match to come in and either go really good for Atlanta or really bad for Atlanta. So you never know. It'll be a really curious thing to see, though.
Where can people find this interview again?
On patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes.
That's right. Nice plug.
Thank you. I do my best. Also, watch along in like 15 minutes. Get your drinks ready.
Yeah, join the Patreon. It'll just open up the app after you join. There's a Zoom link in there.
Yep.
Click it. Come hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're just gonna be chilling, having fun.
Yeah.
Take a shot whenever Atlanta scores a goal, if they score a goal.
No more alcohol today.
You guys got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Atlanta, you're still going to be in seventh, best case scenario at the end of the night. So don't get excited or don't get downtrodden or whatever emotion you want to have. Like if they win, cool. They're still going to be in seventh unless they beat Seattle by 7 goals, a touchdown. So you're going to be in seventh. You draw, you're still in seventh, and a loss leaves you still 3 points ahead of Montreal the way it stands right now. So you're not going anywhere, but you can definitely set yourself up really good with a draw or a win, obviously. We're getting up to that point where it's kind of close to start scoreboard watching because of where Atlanta's at. You're 9 teams going to the playoffs. You're in seventh right now. You're 3 points as it stands right now, 3 points ahead of Montreal, 3 points ahead of Chicago. And so right now you're about to go up a game with this one. So every team around you in the playoffs will have at least a game in hand on you after tonight. So you're teetering on the edge. DC is not far behind at 30. Atlanta's at 35. So try to get your 3 points at minimum, get the 1 point and break the losing streak, get back home and try to beat a Nashville who hopefully has a hangover from the Leagues Cup. I mean, It's a tough schedule. It's not an easy
Or
schedule
they're
for the rest
pissed
of
off that they lost in the final in penalties.
Or pissed off and they're going to beat the crap out of Atlanta. But at least it's at home, so whatever. So
That's true.
That's my final thought.
Tommy, what you got?
I'm already scoreboard watching. I did that as soon as I woke up from the nap, immediately looking and just seeing who's winning, what's the best result. I mean, a lot of it, I'm thinking just a lot of draws for a lot of these games that are coming there. I mean, it's so compact right now that this is just going to be a lot of scoreboard watching over the next couple weeks, and most now I don't think there's a lot of opposite conference matchups after this, like for many of these teams. So it's all going to be in the conference. So I think that's pretty big.
You got Philly again away. You got Cincinnati twice.
Wish we could have played them tonight.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting showdown for the next 10 games. And Ariel Canada asking, at what point are we in must-win mode? I mean, if you ask Pineda, he's in must-win mode now. He's saying that these last 10 games are like 10 finals, but I mean, whatever. Like, you can take that for what it's worth. You have a lot of games that you should have won this year. Should have, and you would be sitting probably up near third place right now or second, but whatever. So to answer your question, I mean, if you want the literal definition, probably 4 or 5 games out if things keep going the way they are. But we'll see.
Yeah. I guess my final thought is, we kind of talked about it. It doesn't get easier. And
no,
I'm looking at the schedule, and in relative terms, of course, your easiest matches, quote unquote, are probably FC Dallas on the road. That's the only one. Nashville, Cincinnati, you talked about that twice. Miami with Messi. DC out the run, probably easy.
Yeah.
In Montreal. But you gotta get, I feel like, at least Vetch said 50 points might be the target number. So you need 15 points from your last 10 games. So you have 5 wins. You need 5 wins.
You need to win at home.
You need to win at home. And who do you have coming in at home? Nashville, Cincinnati, Miami with Messi, Montreal, Columbus. So, Yep. Want to argue
it's the hardest stretch ever.
Well.
It's pretty tough.
It's like the hardest stretch that you've seen. I was listening to Doug Roberson's podcast, and he's like, I've never remembered a stretch like this.
No. But the thing is you look at this in the beginning of the season and you're like, okay, that's tough. But then the season starts and you start looking at where these teams are at in the standings. And it's like, oh, this got really, really tough. More so than I think we thought in the beginning of the season. Now, that being said, there's been a lot of junk thrown on Pineda for not being able to beat teams that are ahead of them in the standings. The biggest one recently was Philly. That was a great win. That was a great, great win. If he goes and pulls out some serious wins in this last 10 matches, then he's going to change the narrative of him. But if he doesn't, with these new signings and everything, come the end of the season, I don't know that he's here anymore. And I like Pineda. I really, really do. I really like Pineda. However, this is it. If you can't win it with the guys that you've got now, then you're just not it, unfortunately. So this is tough, but it's going to be a litmus test for how good of a coach he can genuinely be going forward.
I mean, Garth Lagerwey gave the goal, right? Like, we want to be a top 4 team.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to happen. There's a very good chance it's not going to happen. However, the next expectation is make the playoffs, because every team makes the playoffs.
Yeah, everybody makes the playoffs.
So if you don't make the playoffs here, I think that's just the end. I think if there's no playoffs, I don't think I'd say there's less than a 10% chance that Pineda's here next year. He's just got to, right? Like, because technically every team gets a home playoff game now. If you make the playoffs, I mean, you're going to get it.
It's just a matter if you have advantage or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's going to get that third game is the important thing if it even gets there. But yeah, he has to make the playoffs here. I mean, they're trying to give him the tools, right? And the injuries haven't been crazy like they were last year. So the excuse of that isn't really something that you can go on. This is big
Yeah.
for him. And I think he knows it. And like you heard after they were eliminated from Leagues Cup, you could hear it in his voice, man. He was
he was
it was low.
yeah. upset.
Yeah.
That's twice. Two eliminations very early in competitions.
All right.
Yes,
we gotta
do, Epic.
wrap
we
it
always
up.
talk
But
about both. Okay. Sorry.
Well,
yeah.
we do talk
Well-
about that a lot.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Tyler's
do.
Boca in.
Whoa, hold up now.
And we'll just end the show with that.
Don't try
Tyler,
to
you're
throw
on.
me in.
We're gonna go.
How dare you?
All right.
I'm
yeah,
gonna
we
go
got like
start the Zoom, guys.
10 minutes before the match starts. Well, not the match starts, but like actually 18 minutes before the match starts. So we gotta wrap it up. Unless you guys got one more thing to add.
Go team.
Yeah, here we
team,
go.
Go
10
team,
games
go.
left. Go get it. Get you a win and make people happy.
Yes. I want to go to bed happy.
Me too.
If you're a patron, join us in the Patreon watch party. If you're not, become a patron. We will be back Wednesday, and potentially before that for a ratings video. So
Go ahead and subscribe
That's
on the
the plan.
YouTube. We'll have that stuff coming
Yes.
out tomorrow.
Mascara's getting a 10.
You better.
Already
calling your
calling
shot. Calling your shot.
I want my sushi dinner.
Mascara
though.
shot.
All
See you
right.
guys.
Adios.